I would like to know if it's true that a horse shouldn't be rinsed immediately after a hard workout, or if rinsing them in cold water or hot water makes any difference. I love this one. You know me, I love an old wives' tale.
Oh,
like a good horse.
I want to add an addendum to her wives' tale. What I heard in addition to this, because I have heard this, is that, and tell me if you heard this, never put water on the top and the bottom of the horse. So if you're going to get the horse wet in the top, make sure this bottom doesn't get wet.
I've never heard that one. No, that's amazing.
I don't know where I heard that.
How are you going to go about achieving this goal?
I have no idea. And so both of them are kind of misinformation or old wives' tales. You absolutely can put water on a hot horse. In fact, you should, and it should be cold. I think the worry was cold water was going to either cause cramping, spasms, tying up, or maybe even colic.
Or like a hot glass out of the oven, if you rinse it under cold water and then it just shatters.
Typically horses do not shatter.
Okay, so fly masks with the ear holes and then horses don't shatter.
Yeah, that's what we're learning today. We did work in preparation for the '96 Atlanta Olympics because Atlanta in August, wow,
big deal.
Humidity.
Yeah.
And they found that putting ice, in fact, on these horses, they came in from, back in the day, we were the long format of the eventing. They came in from miles and miles of being out on the cross country and roads and tracks and steeplechase, cooled them down. They would come in at 104, 105, 106, dangerously hot temperatures. So you had to get their core temperature, core body temperature down quickly, and ice was the way to do it. When you do that, of course, it's apply the ice water from like big metal watering troughs, just buckets, scrape. Because as soon as that water hits that horse, it gets hot. If you leave that water on, then it actually makes the horse hotter, it insulates them. So when I see people with a hot horse putting a wet towel on them, I don't often go talk to people if they don't ask, but when I see that I know how dangerous it is, I will walk up and talk to them and say, please don't do that, it's very dangerous. At the Atlanta Olympics, I just found this fact out today, I was just reminiscing, they brought in 100 tons of ice.
Wow.
They had
just for the horses?
Just for the horses.
Wow.
Just for the cross country day. They had 85 cooling misting fans, which are big fans set up with coil hoses around them with holes in them, and then they would run water through. And so when they ran the water through and the fan was on, it would put out a nice mist. And they had these tents, coveralls, I forget what they're called.
Oh,
the white ones.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called.
Maybe someone knows. But they'd walk the horses through, and they'd have fans on both sides, and it was wonderful. And we were like, can we walk through there? So absolutely, do not be afraid of putting water on your horse. I only use tepid water on Newman because, of course, he's like, it's too cold.
Right.
So, but I don't ever get him hot enough that he needs to be cooled off. Trust me.